Hello, guys. This is Juanito from the future. I just wanted to put a disclaimer before the start of this episode because this is going to be a different, more serious type of an episode. It's dealing with a very sensitive subject. It's also not for the younger audiences. So just keep that in mind. Please do not watch this episode if you are easily offended or you don't like listening to sensitive topics. So just keep that in mind coming into this episode. And, anyways, enjoy it. And the main message of this episode is not to get into drugs, obviously. So please keep that in mind. All right. I hope you enjoy it. See ya. Hello, guys. Welcome back to the HCR2 Community Podcast. I'm very happy to be back. As always, your host, Juanito from Team Reddit, and my favorite host.
Hulkster from USA.
Thank you for coming back, Hulk. Actually, I like to give you the handle this time to introduce this special type of podcast, Hulk. What do you think?
Sure, that works for me. So normally we
Go ahead.
do podcasts on, top players, someone like Turtle or Marobox or Avita Hall. This one's a little bit different. We have, a few special episodes that we're doing. There's going to be one coming out. This is the next one. So there's really not a lot of notice. This is just going to come out, and this is just a really cool story that we came across and got to know this gentleman in Discord chat, and just wanted to hear his story. So without further ado, we have our friend Gutter Butter with us.
Hello, guys. I'm Gutter Butter, leader of Team Snowball's Chance. I'm still under a year in playing, and this game is truly the best thing that could have ever happened for me, and finding it.
Well, welcome. We're really happy to have you here. Just before we get into the main topic that we are going to discuss today,
Yes.
Tell us just a little bit about your story in the game. How long have you been playing for? What teams have you been in? Your
Okay,
favorite aspects of the game?
My in-game story would be I downloaded this game at the end of January, and I was playing it just kind of when these things would come up, I would play the game, or when I needed to center my mind, I would play the game. Before I went to bed, I would play the game. But I didn't know anything about VIP, jump shots. Did not know how to kangaroo. Didn't even know what kangaroo was. I started like everybody else does with the, hill climber, and then go to the Mark II. And then the one that I had ended up picking was the monster truck, which is currently my favorite vehicle. But I did buy the red rally car, which I believe is the Chinese New Year one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
it's a good skin.
It's a great skin. In fact, as soon as I seen it, I was like, I told my girl, like, hey, honey, I need $10. I have to get this skin. This car looks so cool. And I wasn't even gold at that time. So not only buying the rally car gave me the skin, but it unlocked it in the game way before I should have ever gotten it. So that just blew open my game. The rally car, I was like, oh. And,
like for everyone else.
Yep, exactly. So I was totally like that. But the monster truck has really been my favorite. Honestly, I've gotten back into it now. I had fallen away for a little while. I would say that for when a new season starts, usually I use like just the rally, monster truck, and the rotator. Because, on the 3 maps that they created specifically for the rotator, which maybe Fingersoft didn't do it intentionally, but they are maps directly made for.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they are. They are for sure.
The fastest vehicle.
They're very obvious.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like the fastest vehicle for sure on those maps, in my opinion. I think I could be wrong because I don't know a whole bunch yet on the leaderboards and all that. I'm starting to learn all that. But I believe the Rotator is probably the fastest vehicle through there. So I know after this podcast comes out, there will be somebody that is like, "Nah, dude, look at my mono." Like, "Nah, dude, look at my
Daspo, or there's a lot of mono people out there.
yeah."
I think it's probably gonna end up with the super diesel being the fastest, like 90% of every other track.
Right.
I didn't even think about that. Maybe, or maybe the stupid bike, because I can't drive it.
Yeah, there's got to be somebody out there that did like wheelie boost and coin boost and wings or something with the superbike and just blew those tracks away.
Maybe start boost, wheelie boost, and something. I'm not sure what the other one would be, but it seems like a lot of the records that I see, especially in the downhill trial, in those, like jump start, or no, not jump start.
Start boost, jump shocks.
Yes, there you go. Thank you, sir. You read my mind, Huckster. That's exactly what I was going to say. That's exactly, because there's one, I want to say, when you're playing the track, I think it's the first one, you start and it goes downhill and there's like 4 logs and it's got like a weird little bridges and there's only one fuel and it's like in a little dip.
Yep.
Okay, that one, like I see all the top times start out like just take off right from the beginning. They don't even go down the hill.
Right.
Not me.
That one's you start boost and you jump right away.
Yep, I can't do that. I will say though, I did not at all understand. So I've been getting into YouTube videos because, believe it or not, I did not ever look on YouTube videos at all for tips or anything like that until after I joined the team. The very team I was on was called All for One. This young kid named Profun was the leader. That was where I met my very first friend. His name was Ryan Zett. He still drives now. He bounces around. He's one of them kind of players that he'll go around and help new teams. You know what I mean? Those kind of people.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and that's like if Snowball's Chance, my team now, I just formed it 2 weeks ago. Not even 2 weeks. Yeah, I don't even think we're 2 weeks young yet, or 2 weeks old. Yeah, gentlemen.
Wow, very fairly new team then.
Yes, sir. Very, very new. I have 12 members. 12 members, and only 4 followed me from where I had come from, which I'll get to there in just a second. But so, All for One, I was on there for a while. Ryan taught me how to friend people. He taught me about the little box in the team event that you can push in the middle, and it tells you everybody's times and what the heck. Yeah, I didn't know anything about that because he would be like, just look in the box. I'm like, well, how do I know a vehicle to use? Look in the box. What are you talking about? Look in the box. I don't know what you mean. And he explained it to me through the chat. It's very difficult to do. But
funny thing is, I probably have clicked that a handful of times ever.
Really?
Yeah. Now, I just don't. I mean, I look at the overall score. Mm-hmm. I usually know what vehicles are good. I click next. I go to the if I'm entering a ticket, I click it and I just play the tracks.
Okay.
I usually don't even look at the 1, 2, 3 and see who's got the best times. I don't know. I usually just don't care.
Yeah. Well, it seems like sometimes either one or the other for myself. Either I'll go in just to have an idea, like what did they use, because I like to mix it up. Like in fact, in the current team event right now in the brake stuff, on the last one, I was second out of, on that little leaderboard with the monster truck. And I was the only person that used the monster truck. So I was pretty proud of that one.
On the clay targets or the targets?
No.
Or the first track?
Yes. T1, the brake.
Okay.
The boxes.
Yeah, the boxes. Crushing boxes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I use heavyweight, coin boost, which actually I ended up switching out the coin boost and used winter tires eventually. And then wheelie boost, I've tried wheelie boost. Afterburner does not seem to work so well because 9 out of 10 times when you go down the hill and you get onto that big pile of boxes and boards, you'll die. You won't die, but you won't have fuel to get up the hill to get to the finish. So Afterburner,
Yeah.
I've not been able to make
Actually,
it with Afterburner yet.
you'd be surprised. The Afterburner is the meta for that track, but yeah, you have to be able to use the right speed to get as quickly as you can, and then
Hmm.
like conserve as much as you can, like during the jumps and stuff like that. But yeah,
Right,
I mean, you'll get there eventually.
right. That's what I figured. But
Well, Gary's.
yes, sir.
I mean, you've told us enough about how much you like this game, but I'd like to get to the part of your story
On
which you wanted to
basically
tell
how I
here.
get to the game. So I am a 45-year-old player now, and for 8, almost 9 of those years, I was addicted to heroin on the daily, every day. I went through terrible withdrawals, just like you read. And if it was not for me finding hill climb, I do believe I would have gone back to it. And this day, I would probably be dead by now because when I did decide to go to rehab, that was my 10th overdose.
Wow.
And yeah, so there was enough time.
That
of
that's honestly, it's really hard to hear because, and I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be us maybe younger than normal people listening to this. So just so that they're clear, heroin is a class A drug, which it's very easily to get addicted to, and it's very harmful. Um, would you feel comfortable telling us how you got into
Actually,
your addiction?
yeah, of course, of course. No, it's important because people, honestly, I think gamers as a whole, I think are possibly more predisposed to be susceptible to addiction just because of our personality. You understand?
Yeah,
I think
I
more
don't
than
I don't disagree with
the
that.
That's true, but I was gonna say more than the personality, it might also be just the simple fact that video games in general are made to give you that
That feel good.
sense of dopamine and exactly that feel good, which
Yeah.
is, I mean, very interrelated with what
Yep.
drugs give you to begin with.
Dopamine and serotonin. Yes. Like right now,
Exactly.
because of me being a heroin addict for 8 years, my body right now apparently does not produce enough serotonin and endorphins for my normal, like for what would be normal. So my moods are very up and down. I go through a very bad depression some days, and hill climb honestly is the only thing. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to be on the phone. I don't want to be around anybody. And I would completely close up if I did not have basically the hill climb community. And I would.
That's really interesting. I mean, again, I think everyone wants to know how you got into it,
Okay, sorry.
what even
So
brought
I
you
got to it.
to hill climb racing
Okay.
too and stuff.
Well, okay. So let's see. I was in the Marine Corps. Once a Marine, always a Marine. So I will never say I am an ex-Marine. You're always a Marine.
How long ago was this? Sorry.
I was in 94 to 98 was my active duty service.
Oh wow.
Well, thank you for
I
your
was
service.
barely born.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah,
say
thank
some
you.
players probably weren't even born in 94 to 98. I know there's a couple of people on my team, 13, 14-year-olds, and they're like, what? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, 94. Yeah, I'm like, I have, my children are probably twice your age, some of you. So, yeah.
So you were in the Marine and
So I
then?
was in the Marines, and just being in the military takes a toll on your body. So when I got out, I was prescribed a lot of different painkillers, and yeah, pretty much that's exactly what it was. It was just the painkillers is what eventually got me there. So the painkillers I was put on by the doctor, and then eventually, like as the opiate epidemic became more and more apparent, the doctors finally started realizing that it's not a good thing to prescribe people a whole bunch of these opiates because even though they're great for what they do, they are highly addictive. And when you take somebody off of it, the doctors don't do it right. They just cut your prescription. You cannot do it that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you cannot just cut your prescription and go from 8 pills a day to 2. You're not going to be able to do it. Physically, you cannot. And mentally, it's even worse. You know, so what they need to do, what a person needs to do with painkillers and opiates and things like that is, if you're on a high dose, taper. Like, you're on 8, take your 8 for day 1. For day 4, take 6. And then 5 or 6 days later, take 5. And then 5 or 6 days later, take 4. And that's basically how you end up getting from heroin eventually too, because they start you with methadone, which methadone technically, if you really look at it, it's just doctor prescribed heroin. It really is, because it was created in World War II by the Germans to take place of morphine. And that was why it was originally created. And, you know, it does pretty much the same thing as morphine does. But as far as heroin addiction, to get somebody off of heroin addiction, it's actually a very good idea. Because I know also that, one, I am going to need to be on some type of pain management system, you know, as my time goes on. Currently, right now, I am on a methadone program, which helps me stay off. And it helps the physical part of heroin withdrawals and addiction, and then just my general body hurt. You know, I have a pinched disc in my back. I have arthritis in my hand. Some days I get up in the morning and it's very hard to open a doorknob. So yeah, you know, this is. But I went
So
from what?
how long has it been? I guess you know. So you
How long
were
have I been
taking. Yes and no. So
Okay.
you went from like the doctor prescribed program, and then they cut you off,
Yeah.
and then what? Like, so
Oh, and then I had enough people around me that it was just easy to get. It just cost money, you know. So pills are very easy to get. Honestly, you can almost walk up to anybody
But
in a city, and, you know, depending on your city, honestly, you know, where I live, it's not upper class at all. Let's say.
and sorry to interrupt for a
Yeah,
moment, Gary. But like, how did you get into the heroin itself?
okay.
Did you
Yep.
have people around
Well,
you that did it,
I
or
was
did you
getting there.
feel pressured,
Nope,
or
I was getting
my bad, my bad. I'm sorry.
there. That's okay. I know that's what I'm very scatterbrained, so I know you're trying to help me. So I went from the pills. It was always easy for me to find, but then it got to where, uh, and actually it wasn't just me. My girlfriend at the time was also going on this journey with me, because I drug her into the whole addiction thing also. But we worked with the guy, and we were spending $100 a day just on pills. And
wow.
this dude was like,
Oh, that's a
"That
lot.
is a lot, yes." So this dude was like, but I mean, my take home was like 900 a week, so it didn't matter. Well, what's $500 when you got almost 1,000 for take home? And that was my mentality then. Not a good mentality for saving. It's horrible.
Right.
But for capitalism, it's the great thing, you know. And so he was like, "Hey, try this," and it was heroin. And for basically $20 worth of heroin, took care of $100 worth of habit for 2 people every day.
Okay, so you went from so the doctors cut you off, and you just happened to like meet other people in this
Well,
in a sim-
I mean, you tend to be around the same kind of people, you know, like
yeah,
like attracts like. You know what I mean? Like, how's that saying go? Show me who your friends
misery
are, and I'll tell you what
misery
kind of
loves
person you
company.
are. Well, yeah, there's that one. There is definitely that one. No, show me who your friends are, and I'll show you who you are, or something to that effect.
You are the average of the people that you spend the most time with.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good one. I never heard that one before, actually.
You never heard that?
No. You learn something new every day.
Yes, sir. I try to make a point of that. Just something. I try to learn something new every day. Like
That's why
aside
you should hang out with people that are better than you, so you can be
Exactly.
better.
See, exactly.
Exactly, I
And you know
agree.
what? That actually comes up to why I left my first team. So I went from $100 a day on pills to $20 a day with heroin. So now I had $80 extra every day. Well, during that time, I had I had got Crohn's disease. Um, well, okay,
Can you
so we
explain
got
what
to
that
rewind
is?
a little bit. Okay, so Crohn's disease. All right, I started Crohn's disease in 2005 is where I started having issues with it. It is a autoimmune disease where the bacteria that is in your stomach that breaks down the food and stuff, instead of breaking down the food, your immune system gets confused and it starts attacking your intestinal walls. Yep. So that's
And is
basically
it
in a
curable?
nutshell. No. Well, no, it's not curable, but it is maintainable. Like it took me 7 years of diaries, like daily food diaries. I ate this and I shit myself. I ate this and I was great.
Quite literally.
Yeah. So, that was one of those. It took me 5 years, but now my Crohn's disease is completely under control with my diet because first of all, the biggest medicine apparently that works for most people that have Crohn's disease caused me to swell up like a big balloon. Like
Wow.
I didn't have no ankles. I didn't have cheekbones. I was just super fat. And it was just because of this medicine. So, we were going back and forth, finding this medicine, and this doesn't work, this works. Every 2 weeks, I'd be in and out of the hospital. It was terrible times. This was 2007 with the Crohn's disease. So after the Marine Corps, while I was still making elevators, before my addiction. Okay. So I
So,
finally, there
so
was
you can you take us to the point where you're struggling? So you overdosed 10 times. Can you take us to the point where, like, what's the story behind where hill climb racing comes in,
okay. So
and where you are now?
okay. So yeah. All right. So I had overdosed on October 22nd, 2019. Uh,
That was the last time?
yep. Yep. That was the last time I died. Yes, sir. I woke up to the police and paramedics. Apparently, they had Narcan. Narcan is something that they use it counteracts the counteracts the effects of the heroin itself. Do you understand?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so Narcan can either be administered through a spray in the nose, or they can also introduce it intravenously. Apparently, the police had given me 2 nasal shots, and that didn't work. And then the paramedics gave me 2 more intravenously. And then they had to hit me with the paddles because my heart stopped. And
Wow.
yeah, and then at
So
that point, that was when I woke up.
so when you wake up, like, what do they do? Do they take you to the hospital? Do they
Yes.
arrest you? Like, what's
Nope.
the deal?
No, actually, they don't arrest you anymore. They used to arrest people that overdosed, and they used to arrest the people that would call the police and be like, "Hey, 911, we got somebody dying." But they used to arrest those people. But now they've made a law that says that the person that calls 911 or is trying to give aid cannot be arrested because people stopped calling. Now you
Right.
got people.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Exactly. So now you got people
It really
overdosing
is.
because nobody wants to fucking be caught up in the bullshit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's wrong.
Nobody is. Yeah. Are you gonna be the good Samaritan that ends up in handcuffs?
Jail. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Perfect way. Do you want to be the good Samaritan that ends up in handcuffs? Yes, that's a perfect way to put it, bro. 1000%. Do you want to be the good Samaritan? No, you don't. Nobody does. Like everybody wants to be a good Samaritan, but at what cost? Going to jail? No, not good enough.
Right.
So, and especially, think about it. You're a drug addict already. And honestly, heroin, people that are addicted to heroin, unfortunately, we get looked down upon. And I know I've seen
Right.
it. You know what I mean? Like for people to find out I was a heroin addict
Did that
was the
affect
worst
you
thing.
emotionally?
Yes, yes, emotionally, mentally, physically, eventually to the point where like I was sick. I didn't want to see people. Yeah. And that all
So
led to me getting sick and tired. So October 22nd, I overdosed. I got brought back. I was at the hospital. I tell the doctors, look, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to wake up sick. When I took that shot, I had wished with every fiber of my fucking being that it was going to be the last one I ever took. You
yeah,
do, and it's terrible because that's how heroin makes you feel. You cannot get off of it by yourself. You can't, and it's unfortunate. Like when you've done your shot and you feel good, you're like, yeah, I can do this. I can get off of this. I can beat this, and you're all motivated for it and you're ready to try. But then the next day, when you get up and your body feels like shit and you can't fucking walk straight, you can't fucking hold a pan, you you're sitting on the toilet with a bucket on your face because you got a bucket under your rear. So that's good. But
you got both holes covered then.
Exactly. Yeah.
Literally.
So so and then when you're at that point, you don't want to. You don't have that. Hey, I can do this. I can beat this again. No, your personal survival says all I got to do is walk 2 blocks and go pay $10, and I can feel better. What the hell am I
Right.
sitting in the toilet for? You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Understood.
And that
So
right
they
there is what makes heroin addiction so hard to get off of, because it
so
works
it's
in your survival stuff.
if you're at so you got revived in this parking garage and they
And
take
I
you to the
brought to the
hospital.
hospital. Yep, took me to the hospital. I asked the doctor. I was like, "You guys have some type of, program here? Can I stay here and get clean? Like, what? Can you guys do something for me?" The doctor says, "We don't do that here." I said, "What?"
Was that the first time you seeked help,
No,
or?
no. Well, that was the second time I had sought help, and the first time basically went like, "This is the way the doctor said." Well, we don't do that here, and then that was it. But this doctor
So then,
said, "But I can send someone down here to talk to you who deals with that type of program. Would you like to talk to him?" I said, "Yes, send this man to me, please. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be an addict. I don't want to wake up ill every day. Like, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." That's the only way to put it. And that's the only way you really end up getting off and changing it, is you have to get sick and tired of being this way. Because with heroin, either it's true, 1000%. You will end up dead. You will end up in jail, or you get clean. That's the only way. My dealer had said, "I've been doing this for 20 years and I've never seen anybody get clean. Never. They go to rehab,
Wow.
they'll come back. Even if they went to rehab, they come back. I've never seen anybody come off of it." My heroin, my addict friends were all like, "Bro, you can't do it. You're just gonna have to learn how to maintain." Like, what? What do you mean I gotta maintain? Like, no, this isn't gonna work for me, dog. Like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And then, not to mention, remember, I told you that my girl too was with me also. She was in this whole addiction with me. We were, by this time that I'm talking about, by the time we overdosed, she was she was staying with her friends, so she was taken care of. But the night before I overdosed, those big paper recycle dumpsters?
Yeah.
I slept in one of those the night before I overdosed
Wow.
because I was homeless. I went to Little Caesars.
oh no.
I went to Little Caesars and got the pizza out of the dumpster, because at the end of the night they throw all their pizzas and breadsticks, so they throw all that out. That's what I ate for dinner that night.
Wow.
But yeah, I was homeless, living on the streets. My life was shit, but my heroin was great, and that's the bad thing. Is
Right.
is is as good as heroin is, the rest of your life is going to be shit. There's no other way to put it. Your life will be shit if you ever get addicted to heroin. I would not wish heroin addiction upon somebody I hated. And hate is a very, very strong word. Like, you got to think, hate means you want to destroy this. Like, you can't stand it. It appalls you on every fiber of your being. You hate it. I would not wish heroin addiction on somebody I hated.
Yeah, or any addiction for that matter, to
Yeah,
be honest, I
well,
think.
yes, of course.
Because technically
Unless
speaking, you can
Yeah.
be addicted to anything.
Well, yeah,
unless
I mean,
it's
anything.
I think it comes down to taking whatever is bad and habit forming and making it
Yes.
to something good, like working out, running, playing hill climb. Like,
exactly.
there's
Yeah,
good. You have to just replace it, find that
yeah.
balance.
Well, I mean, yeah, honestly, that's pretty much how you get over addiction is you replace your addiction with something else, and that has to do with our personalities and really just the nature of addiction. Because a person that becomes an addict is not normal in the sense of I don't even know how to explain it. They're not normal.
Don't worry.
Well, I mean, I don't. It's like
You
because
kind of
a
have
person,
you have the mentality that when you start something, you just go full throttle. You're all in.
yeah, 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 yeah. Actually, yes. Thank you, sir. That's kind of almost exactly what I want to
So
say.
I
Yeah.
think I think a lot of us have similar
As a
thoughts, like whether we're
predisposition.
playing a sport or
Exactly. Right. And
something, running,
right. And
working out.
that right, that desire to do good and to be well and to feel good for doing it is where the addiction lives, and that's terrible for it. And that is why it's so dangerous. You know what I mean?
And so then, Gary, how was the rehabilitation process?
Okay.
Was
Well,
it really hard on you physically? Because I
physically,
mean, again,
well,
excuse my ignorance,
no, no,
but
no, that's
from what
fine.
I've seen
Well, no,
in
of course.
on videos, it's
That,
it's horrible.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I was saying. I say most people like only know what they've seen on TV. Honestly, it depends. It's kind of like jail. With jail, either you can do the time or the time can do you. So it's really what
Oh,
you make of it. Like you can go to rehab, but if you go to rehab with a shitty attitude, you're gonna have a shitty time. I
Right.
learned I learned every day. I learned, and the biggest thing that I learned in rehab was that if I had not gone to rehab, I would not have been able to get off of heroin because my mental state was wrong for doing it. Do you understand? So that's the biggest thing
Yep.
that rehab taught me was where I needed to change my mental attitude to be able to succeed at this. Like it's not just enough to say I don't want to do this. It's not enough to physically not want to do this. That's what addiction is. You don't want to do it, but you still do it. That's addiction. You know what I'm saying? Like in a nutshell,
Yeah.
that's addiction. You do something you don't want to do. So physically, it's not enough. You have to change your mental. You have to think of
So
it different.
take us to the point where, you do what,
Well,
30, 60, 90 days in rehab, and then they just, you're back on the streets.
yep.
So talk to us
Well,
about
okay.
the
So
after rehab
after
and
rehab,
how the game comes into play here.
okay. So after rehab, I got out of rehab. Let's say January. I don't remember the exact day I got out of rehab. I know the day I went in rehab, which was October 23rd. I overdosed on the 22nd, died. I went to rehab on the 23rd. I was not going to play around this time. I was going to get clean or be dead. There was no other way because I knew in my heart if I go back to doing it again, I felt that if the next time I do it, I probably will be there. Yeah. So I honestly figured I better get clean now. I mean, this is what I want. I've said for years, I want to get clean. I don't want to do this, but I never took the right steps to do it. Now I did. And now I had the mental preparation to do it. You understand? And there is the big thing. I had the mental preparation. So I went to rehab homeless because I am a veteran. Luckily, honestly, it's very lucky. I was able to go to a homeless veteran home. And the woman there, Kathy was her name. She was a great person. She set me up. She totally supported me on like I needed to make meetings and I needed to go check in with my counselors. And she made sure I made every appointment. She made sure I was there. You know what I mean? And she would randomly ask me to take drug tests. And that's fine. I don't care. I have not been able to pass the drug test since I was 27 and got out of the Marine Corps. Well, now I can. Now I can. It's finally, because it was always something. There was always something that I was using, whether it was pills or marijuana or acid or cocaine or heroin. There was always something in my life. The only time I was clean was before I found drugs, because I didn't even smoke weed until I was 19 after I graduated high school. I didn't even know what weed was until I was 19. And I went to the Marine Corps when I was later 19. So it wasn't too hard to quit. During my time in the Marine Corps was the only time I was clean. So after the Marine Corps, so I get out in end of January-ish. Before I had played hill climb here and there, but as an addict, you lose your phone quickly and a lot. You understand? So
Right.
I never got
Yeah, absolutely.
right. Like I never really got anywhere in hill climb. Maybe 1,000 meters on countryside. Maybe run forest a couple times, and that's it. Something to pass the time. And so I remember this. And you know how if you go look in Google, like Google Play, it'll show like all the past games that you had previously installed.
Right.
Okay, so there was Hill Climb and there was Hungry Shark World. Those are the two games I was looking for, because those are the only two that I had played or that had kept my interest. Because I'm very scatterbrained. Like, have you ever seen I can't remember what the show was, but it had that squirrel Hammy and that big Rottweiler in there was like, play. Yeah, that's me.
No idea. I think that sounds like an American show.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Or there's, like how the
But
raccoon gets distracted by shiny
so
things. That's me too. Shiny? Yeah. So I went
so
to
then
Google. I found the hill
ha-
climb. I started, like I said, I only played here and there. Like when I was wanting to go pick up dope, when I was wanting to go pick up heroin, because I only live 2 blocks now from where I used to go get it at. I had money, but I remember the mentality. Remember, I said that rehab is what taught me. I needed something to occupy my mind. Hill climb did that for me. Hill climb
So
allowed
I
me.
have a quick question about hill climb.
Yes.
Walk us through, like, so you're looking at different games you had pre-installed on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah.
made you decide, like, I need to get hill climb again and just start playing again?
Well, she actually okay, so there was a lot of actual like racing games, to tell you the truth. But I just remember hill climb. I like the graphics the best, and it seemed to me that the controls were more spot on than this other game I was playing. And also the other game that I was playing was like how Hill Climb is a 2D scroller. This was like a 3D third person view. You understand?
Yep.
And but the controls just it always seemed there was like a half a second a lag, or maybe it wasn't even half a second. It could have been like 2 nanoseconds or whatever, but it was too much. I pushed the gas and the gas was not responding on the car fast enough for my liking. Hill Climb, I've never had this issue, except for
Right. I mean, the
everyone.
physics engine is awesome in this game.
Right.
I agree.
That was the other thing, is the description said a physics-based racer. And I know that just for myself, I like things that work logically, because if I can figure out how something works, then I'm usually really good at it. Because I'm the type of person that I see something being done and I can do it. If I see something on TV, then I can do it. So I remember seeing in the description of the game that Hill Climb was a realistic physics-based game. So if I understand how something works, I usually can be very good at it eventually. So I figured, like I never had a problem with controls. And honestly, the realistic physics-based racer was the final selling point, because I know mentally I can get into this. You know what I mean? Like, and the nuance of it.
yeah.
Like, okay, so perfect example. You guys know Raven?
I've heard of her.
From
Yeah,
Discord
I don't know if she's on. Well, yes, she's
or
in
Discord
Discord.
gems.
Pit
I don't
crew?
know.
I think she's pit crew.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
quicker.
Raven.
The first canyoneer.
Yes, that Raven. Okay, so when I was on the team, ALM a la Mamjud was where I met Raven. Raven allowed me to pick her brain on how things work, because my my jump shot game is garbage, trash, complete shit. Like I could not kangaroo to save my life. In fact, here you go, guys. You're gonna get a good laugh at this, and so will the rest of the hill climb community. So you guys get ready for this one. On T4, on the current event, my best distance so far, which I just did, was 103 meters. And
That's not too bad, honestly. For me, that's
that
good.
was the first time I ever made
I'm
100.
struggling.
That like
it's really hit or miss. I mean, I think that you know, by the end of the event, you know, actually the track that I struggle the most is track 2 with the stupid targets. Track
you know
4
what?
is okay for me, but the
The
targets,
target
I never do good at those tracks.
was like the target thing. Like this is only, I think this might only be like the second target thing I've ever played in, because I've not done a lot of team events. Like I said, when I joined ALM Ala Mamjud, that was really where I first started getting competitiveness and wanting to understand more and more of the nuances of the tracks and the nuances of the cars. So like back to Raven, she allowed me to pick her brain about jump shots because I had no idea how jump shots even work. And I would just be doing it and I hit, and my guy does like 5 flips, which looks great, but it's not what I'm trying to do. I can't go forward. you know, like the flips do not help me laterally at all.
So
But
just to like hone us in here a little bit, what
just
is, you know, take us to the point where you got hill climb. Now, like, what's the next
okay.
big
So,
thing? Like, you know, I think you alluded.
I had gotten hill climb. I was playing by myself. Oh, and here's one thing, like scrap. Everybody scrap before they're supposed, mostly.
Yeah.
Like if I have scrap remorse terribly, because like I got rid of my jump shocks. No, I didn't. Well, yeah, I did get rid of all my jump shocks, all my coin boosts, all my fuel boosts, and like cars that I had never intended to drive, I would get rid of. I would scrap everything. Like the formula, I've only had the formula unlocked for like a month, and the only reason I unlocked it was because I couldn't do a team event without it. But when I had started the game, there was a few cars I had no intention of ever driving. The formula, uh, any of the motorcycles, the chopper, the motocross, or the scooter. No, didn't.
Wow.
I never planned on driving any of those. The racing truck
Wow.
or the supercar. I didn't plan on getting any of those.
I got every car as soon as I could.
Really?
Yeah, same. I bought like every single offer that I had
Oh,
with cars.
no, not me. Like I didn't get like the formula and the supercar, the racing truck. I unlocked all those at the same time, and it was
Wow.
only like a month and a half ago. Okay, so because technically I'm still under a year, and in fact, hold on, I'll tell you some more of that. Okay, so let's get back to January. I had downloaded it. I started playing. February, I just played here and there. Like I was tired. I was wanting to go to bed. I'm standing in line at the store. You know what I mean? But really, the big thing that I used hill climb for was whenever I wanted to, I would start craving heroin. I would sit down. I would shut my door, and I would just sit and I would play hill climb until that craving passed. And one time it took 2 days before I knew I could get up without walking out that door and go to the dope spot. And if, like I said, if I did not have hill climb, because you have to have something to mentally get your mind off of doing the dope, you know what I mean? Because this is something I spent 8 years every day doing. Every day. My only focus from the time I got up was to get dope because I didn't want to be sick. And then once I got it, I didn't want to be sick tomorrow. You know what I mean?
So you played hill climb for 2 straight days, and it was to get your mind off of it. You know, so take us to how that helped you this game, and how you got to where you are today.
Okay, so yes, I played it basically for the 2 straight days because mentally I was wanting to go get more heroin again. because even though physically I didn't need it anymore because I was through the physical withdrawals, mentally you still want it. So mentally, that's where the mental part that I had said. Remember, I told you before that the mental was where I realized I was going to lose. That's
Okay.
where, because you crave it, so you need to do something to keep your mind from drugs. And hill climb was mine because hill climb was difficult enough. I had to pay attention. You know what I mean? So not conscious mind engaged. My subconscious also is engaged too because I'm trying to do very good, because I'm trying to do better, because I want to get farther. So my mind completely is hill climb. And actually, I didn't realize it was 2 days until I look at the clock, and then the clock tells me it's Thursday and not Wednesday.
Wow.
And then it was Tuesday when I had started. So yeah, I was like, whoa! Like I knew I had gone 12 hours at least. I knew I did, but I had gotten so far into it and so engrossed that I had no idea of bedtime even went past. And like I said, I had tried other games, but nothing kept my interest like that. And it was a losing battle until I found Hill Climb. Hill Climb allowed me to stay focused enough until I got that mental state where now I could see heroin in front of me and I could turn around and walk away. Whereas before,
Wow.
if it was
That's
if it was
amazing,
sitting
man.
in front of me, I would not have been able to turn around and walk away. I would have been like, oh, that's heroin. Let me try. Like that's exactly how it is. And Hill Climb allowed me to make that mental distinction now. You understand?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, you know what, Gary? I want to tell you that. I mean, even though you maybe strayed through a dark path at one point in your life, having the strength to get back in the right path and overcome all of those challenges, which I'm sure are overwhelmingly difficult. Like it does take a special type of person and attitude, as you said. Like it's all about mindset, and I think that goes for
Agree.
anything in life that you
Yes,
want to
sir.
do.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I feel like a kid here because I really
No,
am,
that's
but
okay.
I really want to give you my
Thank you.
respect and congratulations for getting over all of
Thank you,
this
sir.
because believe it or not, it is very inspiring to
Thank
hear.
you, sir. And
Yeah,
I
it
would
really is.
have to say that thank you, Fingersoft, for creating this game, because if I did not have this game, I would not be in the position I am in now. I know this, or I'd be struggling a lot more than I am without Hill Climb, because Hill Climb and the community gives me somebody to talk to. Like I said, the days when I don't want to talk to anybody around me, I still have a connection to people because of Discord, because of our chat boards, because of my team. I will not give up on my team. So no matter what, I still have to interact with my team. You know what I mean? And because
Right.
I'm not feeling good, or because I'm in a certain kind of mood, doesn't mean that I need to bring somebody else down. So I'll never bring my badness to the chat boards or to the game, but just know that if it is there, just the conversation makes a difference. Just knowing, having somebody be like, "Hey, how you doing today?" That makes a difference.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
does make a big difference, and this is a
That's true.
really,
I agree.
I would say it's a very unique community, and just it was cool enough that we had all these different people from all over the world get together to race a few tickets every couple of hours, and then that evolved into things like Fair Play Server and podcast and Mono Wars and Tractor Wars and everything else,
Yeah,
and it's it's
right.
it's awesome. So
Exactly.
um,
It's great. Yeah.
with that being said, is there people that you wanted to shout out?
Hmm.
Was there anybody in
There
particular
are
that helped you?
Yes.
actually, I will say that yes, there are definitely people who have for sure helped me along. Well, one I do not want to forget, your last guest. In fact, and forgive me if I butcher your name, bro. Avitahal?
Yeah, that's correct.
Avital? Okay. Him, he did that Ligna. Ligna YouTube. I have learned a lot from Ligna. Dude, keep your channel going, bro. And honestly,
Excellent player. He's really good.
yes,
Hit us up if you want to come on the podcast.
yeah, Ligna, you should, bro. And also, his videos that say mid to low parts means mid to low parts. You guys out there
That's
on
true.
YouTube, whoever you are, you know who you are. When you make a video and you label it, and you label it low GP, like, whoa, you turn your car down. That does not mean high max part.
Right.
Okay. So for all of you out there in YouTube world, I'm speaking directly to you. You know who you are. Stop making those videos, please. It's not fair. I don't have max parts, and I want to see how to do something low parts, low GP. I want to know how to do it. I want to know how to get a good score. I'm not going to get a good score with low vehicles and max parts. That doesn't happen in my world. I'm sorry. In fact, I
Like
only
low
have
G, yeah,
one
like
max part.
low GP. Low GP does not mean 7.5K GP and level 14 wings and
Yeah,
level
no, it
6 land
doesn't.
boost.
It does not. You're right. In fact,
Okay,
I have, I
so
only
you
have
shout
one
out
max part.
Ligna.
Yes,
Shout out.
Ligno. Cole, actually, you have helped me a lot. Also, my friend Cole is a young man who is he's like a savant, honestly. Like especially with the rally car, him and he's got this friend William. William, I do have to say, and William is he has lower GP, I believe, and he was setting world records with a low GP. So he
Wow.
is a very, very good player. Cole is, in fact, you remember the manual for the new manual?
Yeah,
Yes,
Legolino.
Lego.
I learned
Did
to
you?
say it.
I was reading that last night. I was like, how do you say his name? Oh my god, I'm gonna sound so bad. But yes, Legolino. Cole is helping on the rally car portion of it, and he's taught me a lot. He a lot of times him Ahmed. It's A7MED. He's from United Arab, or he was. He's on Snowball's Chance now. Thank you. My best, my strongest, my best player. His word, I believe he's from Syria, and his word, I believe, is Moalim, Moalim. It's like teacher, and this is my word. I call him. He is my Moalim, my teacher, the one who teaches me a lot.
Oh, that's nice.
Because in fact, it's due to him that I was even able to break 20K in a team event. Well, between him and Cole, between the two of them, they helped me
It's
so
awesome.
much to even break 20K in a team event. I was like, thank you guys. You guys are so awesome. But it's
So
great because
Gary
there's people from all over the world, that we get to interact with. And then Raven has helped me a lot understand jump shocks because okay, so my problem with jump shocks is I did not used to know when to activate them. Like, do I right before I hit the ground, or do I want to activate them like right as I land, or before I go? You know what I mean? And the best answer I got before was, well, it depends. Well, it
That's true.
depends.
It
There's
does
not an
depend.
answer. Right. But I mean, I didn't understand how it depends. You know what I mean? But now I understand
Yeah,
the angle of your vehicle, the height at which you activate the jump shocks are going to affect how far laterally you go versus how high vertically you go. And yeah, those things. And like, I seem to think that, like, see, so I understand how to do it. Now I just need the physical actually doing it. That's my kangaroo problem.
right.
You know,
you'll
right.
get it with
And
time.
then, like, I just now, no, I didn't max. I just now got my super diesel jump shot to level 9 on on super diesel. And that's the highest jump shot I got. Fortunately, the super diesel is a good jump shot vehicle, but I would love to eventually get it down with the original hill climber,
Oh
the
yeah.
little GP. That's what I always call it. Either a little Jeep or the GP. Whenever I'm on my chat board,
Baby Jeep.
yeah, baby Jeep, yeah. Okay, so yeah, there's those are there. Um,
So
yeah, let's see. I mean, there's just so many players. Honestly, you guys, you know that. Like everybody though. See, that's the thing about hill climb that's so great is I, as a 45-year-old man, can learn something from a 16-year-old not a boy. I don't want to say a boy play, but you know what I mean. A
Yes.
A
young.
young man.
There you go. You know what I mean? Like my father was the type of person like, oh, you're younger than me. What do you know? Like, thank God I did not get that attitude from him because I've learned a long time ago that just because you're young does not mean you're not better than me at something, and you can teach me that something. And he'll
Of
climb.
course.
Actually, speaking of that, there's I mean, it's too long to say here, but I encourage everyone listening, including you guys, to read a really nice poem called Desiderata. It's spelled Deserata. It's really
It
beautiful, and
is
it does talk
beautiful.
about
I know what you're talking
there's
about.
there's a
Yes, I
you
do.
know it there's a part that says it's something along the lines like everyone has their own story, even the dull and ignorant, they too have something to say, so you can
Yes,
learn from them. I don't know,
that's
but
basically what it
it's really
says. And
nice.
yes,
So
that's true. And that's one thing that like Hill Climb especially will show you. Like you guys know Bad at HCR. Bad at HCR.
Yes.
He's been helping me try to get Canyoneer because I'm so close. I'm like I got like 985. Like
Ah,
I'm
home
so
stretch.
close.
Home stretch.
Exactly. But like it's like
you'll
this
get it.
last 50,000 has been killing me. But everybody said that. Like
Well,
Cole, Ahmed, even Raven had said it before. That the last 50K is the worst, the longest. It's gonna take you forever, but it does. And I can totally see how how and why. You know what I mean?
well, yeah, but that's the beauty about this community. Like everyone is willing to help. So then, just before we
Yeah.
close this off, is there any message or anything you like to tell everyone? Like any message or
I
lesson?
would definitely say that within hill climb, you can learn from anyone. Anyone and everyone can teach you. And in the event that there was somebody out there with an addiction, it is possible to get off of it and to go beyond and to help yourself get better in your life. It is possible. Heroin was the worst thing. You know what I
It's a
mean?
good
But
message, and
that's
and
the
and you
best
do
thing.
have
You
people to
can
talk
do
to.
it. You can
And
do
not
it.
only that, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
always
you
seek
you
help.
don't know, the things that everyone's going through. So it's always good to just be respectful, and Discord's a great community for that. The team's a great community for that, and servers that we're in are tremendously helpful in making you a better player.
Yeah. Yeah,
So we,
and then also is on that other thing, the rehab thing is to find yourself a good rehab, okay? But aftercare, like there are some places that will put you like into like a halfway house kind of thing. You know what I mean? And that will allow you to not go back to the place where you were. That will allow you to go to new places and to make new friends and new people. Like my girl and I, when we both got clean, because remember I told you she was on this journey with me. The whole thing from beginning to end, my girl was with me every step. She lived in the car with me. Now we live together in an apartment. We got clean together. We're staying clean together. But
that's good.
you have to get rid of the people. Unfortunately, your addict friends, you're going to have to get rid of. And that is the hardest thing. And then find something to keep your mind occupied. Hill climb works great. Oh,
Yeah,
and then also,
Yeah.
I do got one thing,
Well,
and like this is one thing. So I remember before that the younger players are going to end up making the future. The young players right now that are on the boards are going to be the future at the top of the game where you guys are now. The ones that are just learning and just coming out. Well, I mean, they are eventually. You know what I mean? Because one day you're going to be my age, and then it's going to be the 16, 18, 20-year-olds that just, yeah, you've got experience, but they've got something different, and they're killing everybody's record.
it's true. The records are getting harder and harder and harder to beat.
That's what I mean. Like there's this young guy. When I met him, I had left my team all for one to go learn things and just to open up my world in hill climb. You know what I mean? And that's when I was first learning YouTube videos, and I found this team called Black Souls that was just starting. And so I went and joined them, but that team didn't fit. But in there, I picked up a couple different friends, and I met Far. 4AR is his name. He is very, very good. In fact, he was one of the ones in one of Turtle's live streams. He came in first.
Oh, it's awesome.
On the stupid bike. Yeah, and so, you know, Far Side's one. There's this young kid, Vrushank, Vrushank. He's helped me a lot with my jump shots, trying to learn those. You know, so I mean, there's just tons and tons of people. But those are a couple of young people I would say look out. Joey's really, really good. He's coming up in the world record boards a lot. So yeah, you guys will see.
Well, Gary, it was really a true pleasure
Thank
to
you.
have you on board. I'm really glad you contacted us and that you gave us the pleasure to be able to tell your story. I think more than anything, it's to do good for everybody. You know, to tell anybody to first of all avoid even getting into the situation you went through, because even though you can get over it, it's better to just avoid it
took me
altogether.
8 years.
So
You know what I mean?
thank you
It took
very
me 8
much.
years to get through it and to come out to this side. So it's not easy. It's not a fast journey at all. But without the hill climb community, the whole community, you guys have been great. I love every single one of you. Like you guys were instrumental to me becoming and staying clean and being clean to this day. I have a year, like a year and 2 months, something like that. I don't know exactly right now off the top of my head because I didn't look. But I do have this app. It's called Sober Time, and it keeps track of my sober time for me. You know, and it used to, because I used to keep diaries and journals, you know, because sometimes that helped. You know, like you've got these negative feelings, write it, burn that piece of paper, you'll feel better. Because because I think of it like I wrote these negative feelings down, they're on this piece of paper, now I like them and I release them. That's what that does.
I mean, we do really appreciate you coming on today, and everyone just kind of stay tuned. We have our next two guests would be 4x4 and Actuary from my team, Team USA. I'm really looking forward to that, and we're going to get to see how they work, how they operate, how they how they lead a top 10 team, and lots of cool stuff to come. So thank you, everyone, and we will talk to you soon.
Yep. Thank you, Hope. Thank you, Juanito. Thank you, Fingersoft, and the Hillcon community. You guys have made a huge difference in my life, and I love every one of you for it.
Awesome. Thank you. We appreciate it.
All right. Back to my canyoneer.
Good luck.
I need the crown. Bye, guys.
Bye.